Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please make sure to hit the little red button. I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. So as you guys can tell by the title of this video, I thought I would just sit down and talk to you guys about seasonal depression and what you could do to avoid it this year. So I took some notes on my laptop, so I'm going to be reading off from them because I do have quite a lot of different topics that I wanted to bring up and I don't want to forget anything. So starting off, I'm someone who actually dealt with seasonal depression, which is why I felt like I should make this video. I feel like I dealt with it almost every year since I was in high school, and as someone who lives in Chicago, we experience all 4 seasons, and there are a few things that I feel like causes seasonal depression. So like I mentioned, I live in Chicago, and so when fall starts, we start to feel the cold, and I'm someone who loves the heat. Spring and summer are my favorite seasons, and so when it starts getting cold out, I really don't want to be outside. I like to stay inside where it's warmer. Personally, I don't think it's healthy to always be inside. I feel like it's important to go outside and get some vitamin D from the sun, and I think that not going outside causes us to have a deficiency in vitamin D, and there's so many people in parts of like the Midwest where we experience the fall who have a deficiency in vitamin D because we're not going out and having sun exposure. And I took some notes on the importance of vitamin D. So vitamin D is known to increase serotonin, which, as you guys know, that helps to stabilize our mood and also increases our happiness, but it also helps reduce stress and improve focus. And so I feel like not going outside causes us to not have vitamin D, which then leads to us experiencing seasonal depression. Now I really wanted to film this video because, like I mentioned, I've experienced seasonal depression for many years, but actually this past fall and winter was the first time that I felt like I wasn't in that mindset and I wasn't really going through seasonal depression. So I wanted to share a few things that I did to avoid it. But before we get into it, I wanted to add that unfortunately I am the type of person whose mood depends on the weather, and I know that's not healthy at all, but I also know I'm not the only one. So if you feel the same way or can relate, I just wanted to let you know that you're not alone. I know it's not good for us to depend our mood on how the weather is, but if it's gloomy and rainy outside, I will definitely feel low and not have motivation to do anything. I just don't find like any happiness in a rainy day. I know some people love it, but I unfortunately cannot get behind that. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that. But now let's get into what I did. And I separated this into 5 different categories. So the first thing is that I made an autumn or fall bucket list. I know bucket lists are really popular during the summertime. You always see all these people sharing their bucket list ideas, but I think it's super important to make one during these seasons, fall and winter, because personally it helps to boost my mood when I have something to look forward to. So making a bucket list definitely helps. And so now I'm going to list a few examples of what you can have on your bucket list, but there are definitely a lot more out there, and I'm sure you already have some in mind, but if not, you can definitely look some up. So the first thing that I have is to go to a pumpkin patch. I think these are super fun. I'm actually going to one today with my siblings, and there's 2 in Illinois that I think are super fun and I've already been to, so I can say that. First one is Go Birds, which is in South Barrington, and then Bankston's, which is in Homer Glen. Those are super fun. You can also go apple picking. I know some pumpkin patches have this included, so you might want to look into that. You can also paint pumpkins, read fall themed books. There's a couple that I want to read, like Pumpkin Spice and Everything Nice, I think that's what it's called. Then there's also one called the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, which also sounds really interesting. You can go to a fall fest. I feel like there's so many around the city. You just got to do a little bit of research as to what dates they have them. I've been to a couple and usually they take place at a church. I went to one like 2 weeks ago. It's a great way to get like into the fall spirit. They usually have food and games and other little things to do, so that's fun. You can also go to a corn maze, and again, some pumpkin patches have this, so again, you just want to do your research. You can have a night in and watch a movie while eating some fall themed snacks. Trader Joe's always has a lot of holiday or seasonal snacks, and I recently went and I got my hands on a couple of really good and tasty snacks. They have these like apple shortbread cookies. They also have some like maple flavored popcorn, which I have yet to try, but I feel like having a little night in, especially when it's chilly out, and having these little snacks makes it fun. You can also enjoy a fall themed drink. So if you're in Chicago, there's this really cute cafe called the October Cafe, and it's not just open in October, it's actually open year long, and it's basically just like a pumpkin themed cafe, and they sell these really cute coffee flights with fall themed flavors. I went last year and it was fun to taste all these different flavors. And I also know there's these 2 other locations. I'll list them right here because I can't remember at the moment. But there's a couple of coffee shops throughout the city that do these coffee flights with different fall themed flavors. And they're really good. And it's also just like a little fun activity you can do with your friends on a weekend. You can also create an autumn bouquet. That sounds really fun and they turn out pretty. You can enjoy some caramel apples. You can buy some at a pumpkin patch or at a store, or you can also make them at home. Last year we made like a little station to make caramel apples, and we bought different dips and different toppings, and they turned out pretty tasty. You can go on a hayride, you can also bake a pie, and you can try some apple cider. So those are just a few ideas for a bucket list if you're wanting to put one together. If you have any other ideas, make sure you comment them down below and share with the rest of us. The second thing I did is that I forced myself to spend at least 30 minutes outside daily, and this could mean going around the block for a walk or running your errands, and instead of like driving there, you can walk there just so that you're getting some fresh air, a little bit of sun exposure. That always helps. The third thing that I have listed is to take up a hobby, and for those of us who live in a colder climate, some indoor hobbies that you can do include painting, reading, scrapbooking, content creation. I actually filmed a video on some hobbies that I've been doing a couple of weeks ago, so make sure you check that out. But yeah, for those who live like in California and Florida, I'm definitely jealous of you because you get sun year round. But I also know that there's some really fun outdoor activities that you can do during these times. So I would definitely look into some like outdoor and indoor hobbies if you're one of those people who live there. Fourth is to set a morning and night routine, and by this I just feel like it's good to have like some type of structure to your day, and I think it's important to implement journaling. So if you're kind of feeling down, I really recommend writing down your thoughts, sharing how you feel, and just like opening up. Sometimes it's easier to write it down than say it. Personally, I'm definitely trying to journal a little bit more regularly. And I think it's important to like switch things up so that your days don't have this like mundane routine and you're doing the same things every single day, especially if you're someone who works like a 9 to 5. I would definitely say having a hobby to fill in free time during the week is a really great way to do that. Or also just like making plans with your friends to have like dinner on a Thursday. And the last thing on here is to try to change your mindset. I know this is easier said than done, and trust me when I say this because I can totally relate, but I would say you can look at this time as a way to really like lock in and focus on your goals. Recently I've been hearing a lot of people on TikTok talk about like the winter arc, and these like 3 to 4 months are a time for you to like lock in and reach like some of your fitness goals. And especially because we're spending time indoors and we might not see our friends as much, we can really use this time to like either reach our fitness goals or again focus on our hobbies. If you're trying to grow in like content creation, this is a great time to just like settle in and really just like work and strive towards those goals, especially because we're at the end of the year. And I know maybe some of us set some New Year's resolutions or goals at the start of the year that we haven't gotten to, including myself. So it's a great time to finally get to those and try to work towards a better version of yourself. So that is all I have for today's video. If you guys have any other recommendations for someone who might be going through seasonal depression and you'd want to share them, make sure you share them in the comments down below. We would really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!